End of the reliquary. So this gives your trinket mages some teeth to do that.
Yeah, I mean it worked out
What do
really
you
well.
call this
Also,
deck?
with you having been at 1 the
Scheel?
last game against
Blue-red
Smallpox.
Jacerator. Now, a friend and I are both running the exact same 75 in the tournament.
You and Violet?
No, Donnie Peck is from Omaha.
I don't know that
He's
fellow.
a younger player. We got the list from a guy who won the PTQ in Arkansas, and we changed a few things about it. We didn't like the land count he had. He had 3 steam vents. We cut that to 2. We added an extra fetch land so you'd have more access to basics.
Okay.
Because you often want to go turn 2 or 3 Blood Moon cold and just be able to cast your spells after.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to get to at least 2 blue after that.
Yeah, I noticed the first game, didn't impact you too much because you ended up drawing the other island, but you had the
Right.
moon, but you... and
Worst case scenario, I'd have to Trinket Mage for Chrome Box
Yeah.
to get another booster. So.
Well, sweet. Is that 1 Pithing Needle, or did I go across
1
another
Pithing
one?
Needle main.
So you...
That got added to the list as well for the Dark Depths matchup.
That seems reasonable.
And we added a spell bomb to the sideboard. So if you have an insurance plan, if they do get a 20/20, you can...
You don't have, do you have repeals hiding in here that I didn't...
No repeals.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Just a Cryptic Command for the balance, but...
Okay. And Jace, if need. Sweet, so you got the one
So the
chalice.
deck list is on the screen, so you guys, the people at home can see it. You guys can see it right here.
Awesome. Cool. So you got your toolbox of 1 chalice, 1 relic, 1 pithing needle, a couple of, you got the full count of
2
explosives.
chalice main,
Yeah.
2 explosives.
Yep.
Sometimes you just Civic Wayfinder for the Great Furnace. The original list had a Seat of the Synod. We cut it because most of the time you just want an island for Blood Moon.
Yeah. All right. Vendilion Click. I'm a big fan of this guy. Always been a fan. So tell me, how do you run against the Thopter Depths matchup?
Probably our best matchup in the tournament.
It seems like a reasonable deck to play then, if
Yeah.
that's going to be the case.
We were expecting lots of it. I haven't played against it yet, but
Is it just all the extra control elements that because
yeah, you have more card draw than them, and then you end up playing good trump answers to their combo pieces.
Okay.
Like Chalice for 2 is going
Thank
to
you.
obviously deal with Thopter Depths or Hex Mage if they get out before. They don't have too many answers to Chalice main deck. They've got Repeal or E, and you can lock those out. If you get a Blood Moon out, it's very hard for them to explosives.
Yeah.
Or say a Chalice on 0 and a Chalice on 2. Repeal, they've got to cast that, so it's a 4 mana spell, and you can sometimes Orc Mage it or Cryptic Command it.
It seems good. Fire Spot kills everything effectively.
Almost everything in the format.
Yeah. Except for the super giant guys, and you've got answers for
Goliath
them.
and Knight.
Yeah.
What is your matchup against fairies, you think?
Fairies would probably be one of the more difficult matchups. You'd have to have a good fast draw to deal with their Bitter Blossoms or their Bobs. Spell Center is insane. Originally, I think the list had 3. I wanted 4 in there really badly, so we cut the 4th Thirst.
Okay. Let's see. So we ended up...
Archmage is probably good against Fairies, I'm guessing.
So you got your 1 Great Furnace, but you don't have a seat in the deck?
No, cut the seat for an island. I just wanted to up the basic count.
Okay.
Color fixing doesn't come up too much, where you need that 3rd blue off
It's
of
just
it.
a land that you find you need? Yeah.
We'd rather be able to Civic for a red source to cast Fire Spout or
That makes perfect sense.
Blood Moon. 1 Academy, it's kind of random since you don't have any ways to tutor for the Academy, but once you get it with your explosives or your Chalice, it's really good.
And more often than not, you've got enough card drawing that unless it's hiding in the very bottom of the deck, you'll probably come across it at some points.
We ended up sideboarding the Sowers and main decking Shackles. I think the original list had main deck Sowers and maybe sideboard Shackles, but they're just more resilient against Zoo since they can't bolt it or path it. They only really have Pride Mage, and some of them play main deck Bancharm to deal with the Shackles, so you can sometimes set that up where it's a game-ending card.
But it seems, if nothing else, like they've got far more answers to deal with the man than they have to deal with the artifacts themselves. So.
Yeah. The plan against creature decks is just to actually overwhelm them with answers to creatures after board. We're boarding in Sowers, Threads, Explosive, or 3rd Explosives, the 4th Fire Spell, and a lot of times you just end up killing almost all the creatures they play the entire game.
It looked like it that last game. You just had infinite answers, and then even when he was using his hand disruption to get rid of you still had enough answers left over that you could get the answers you had locked down.
Almost
taken care
none of them are 1-for-1, so you're able to, Threads a creature, Fire Spout 2 creatures.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot of room against aggro decks that are stomping you on their curve.
That's really good. Not to mention it's all super fast. Having the threads.
Most of it's low curve. As you can tell, most of our deck doesn't get hurt by Chalice for 1 or 2, so a lot of times against those Zoo decks, we're just trying to get a really early Chalice out on those to lock up half their spells. then you only have to remove the other half.
Do you have Chrome Monk? Yeah, 4. Okay.
Yep, 4
Yes, I
monks.
thought you probably did. It seems like the perfect card.
Sometimes it feels a little bit land light since you've only got 25 mana sources between mocks and 21 lands.
Mm-hmm.
But since your average casting cost is 3 or less, I mean, you're good most of the time on the 25 mana.
Does it ever hurt you with your shackles? Like,
Shackles can be scary with that. If you get stuck on 3,
you've got what?
not going to gain control of very many things at that point.
Yeah, 11 islands in the deck, looks like. So,
Plus,
but I mean, you've got the 8 fetches, so yeah, it doesn't seem too terribly risky. I mean, you're not looking to steal anything that really goes above like 3
Most of the time.
anyway. Yeah, so.
Goif would be the only thing. But
All right. Well, sweet.
we had Ancient Grudge, but we cut it at the last moment to get the Basilisk Collar in and one more Endealing Cloak for the Scapeshift matchup.
Which
It's good against Scapeshift, it's good against Archetypes. Anything that's trying to combo, you want to just, it's like blue discard almost.
yeah, Basilisk Collar just seems really good against like 2 big decks in the format too. Like, I really like it.
It seems like it doesn't have much synergy with the deck because you only have 7 creatures in the main, but you're also boarding it in more creatures when you're doing it and things that take creatures.
Yeah, that's exactly. Like, I mean, getting the pants up there, guys, is definitely a good thing.
Right.
So,
I need to give that list back.
oh, okay. There you go.
And there's the 15th card, the one Fire Spout that I didn't take.
Because it was still.
No.
Oh, no,
just
it wasn't on there.
I just didn't write it down. It was on the deck list, and people were like, "Is your sideboard 14 cards?"
Yeah, he
We got
doesn't.
deck checks round 3, so we're good.
So
Yeah.
you're just a savage cheater.
Well, sweet. I like that they are making the announcement now that you either have to have a 15 or 0 card sideboard. Like, thinking to myself, who in their right mind actually says I would love to come to a tournament with a deck that I knew was so awesome that I could just register at 60 with a 0 card sideboard and go on to win away afterwards. I'd be like, look, didn't need it. It's okay.
Pretty sick.
Well, sweet. I mean, this looks awesome. Ben, you got anything at all? Or?
I'm gonna type an Iwan's name. You tell me how much you love him.
Andy Roman. I think he betrayed me at some point. He's a good guy though.
I traveled with him to a main PTQ last
Are we
weekend.
done with the Good Decks Live?
I guess so.
Did you thank our sponsor?
Oh, I
have
forgot to.
not yet.
Robbie Brown.
So as we thank our sponsors.
Robbie Brown.
Yeah, thank our sponsor for Good Decks Live. Brought to you by, of course, TCGplayer.com. TCGplayer.com. Why shop anywhere else? Don't waste time surfing. Pick and choose from over 20 of the internet's cheapest vendors, all in one place. TCGplayer.com is the only place to get the absolute lowest price on any card you need. Shop, compare, and save with TCGplayer.com. So what I was saying is, I rode with him to a PTQ in Maine last week, and we spent probably a good hour just talking about how awesome you were.
Andy Roman's really cool. He's a cousin of Mark Roman, another Island player I met. It was just funny, about a week ago, I hear from a good friend of mine, he's reading an article and says that my round 1 opponent
Wait,
at the
quick
Pro
break,
Tour...
pause. There's no Chick-fil-A.
That's
That
live.
Chick-fil-A is like 5 miles away. That they went to. The other one is closed. So I'm just gonna go to the bar and get food.
Wow.
So you're
Never
gonna
seen you
you're
more
gonna get
disappointed.
you're gonna get whatever I think you like, and you're gonna get whatever I think you can eat.
All right, get me whatever you want with as few vegetables as you could possibly get on it.
Vegetables and the sugar flour plate.
I can have sugar, I just can't have flour. Alright, so
So a friend is telling me that he just read an article, and that in the article it says that my round 1 opponent at the Pro Tour, who's doing like a tournament write-up, knew what I was playing. He knew I was playing Bant, which I was going to play Bant for the Pro Tour, but I switched at the last minute the night before, so I wasn't playing Bant. It was just funny because someone tried to sell me out, and then the information was just way off.
That's beautiful.
and that was Andy Roman talking about, his friend James Ford, I think.
Yeah.
Another Boston player. Like, it's funny because, like, I didn't really know Andy, but I went to, like, a local card store where my college is, which is, like, sort of suburb of Boston. And, like, he was, like, telling some story to somebody about, like, Scheel and, like, Hansen, like, Cheeks. I'm like, go over to him, like, how do you know these people? He's like, oh, I used to live in Iowa. How do you know these people? Oh, I PTQ in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So, borrow cards from him and get rides to PTQs because he lives in my city.
Anything. Sushi. Black Dragon Roll.
Jason Ford, sorry.